Welcome back to the show. We now joined by another member of eStudy, of which I'll allow her to introduce herself.
Thank you so much. Yes, so my name is Monia. I'm an HR specialist at eStudy, and I'm currently operating in the workplace department and also the student HR.
Okay, so in regards to your department, what do you normally do at most?
So I want to say, in regards to the workplace providers, we need to ensure that our interns are placed in safe workplace environments that allows them to grow in
Okay,
their positions. I think that's one of our main goals
challenge.
when it comes to the youth unemployment. Okay, great, we are providing them with opportunities, but now they need to grow so that they can be absorbed permanently, for example. So I think that that's our main goal, to go and vet these workplaces to make sure that they are really committed to this whole program that we have to offer. Yeah.
And then in your department, because you spoke of placements, are you the individual responsible for finding basically or making sure you better the chances of the candidates, as you had mentioned that you do the vetting. Or let me rather rephrase to ask, in regards to most of the workplace that you've been working
Yeah.
with, how many have had a better success rate of onboarding or uh, permanently
Absorbed.
absorbing the,
Yeah.
the, the candidates at the end?
Okay, so yeah, I mean, the permanent absorption, it has increased
Okay.
a lot throughout the year. I think our goal has changed, and that has allowed us to provide candidates with opportunities to be permanently absorbed. So, I mean, like Tashanya mentioned, we have a lot of new things in the works that's going to
Yeah.
come, and it's going to affect a lot of things, and it's going to empower the youth a lot more. So with our new processes, we do, for example, require our workplaces to provide us with job descriptions,
Oh
right?
yes, yes.
To tell us what do they need, to make sure that when we get the candidates and the job description, how can we breach that match to make sure this is the best candidate for the
Oh,
position
okay.
and vice versa. Because I think also in regards to the placements of the interns, we always take into account their qualification, the experience, where they are located. So we really focus on giving them the best opportunity so that they can grow and flourish. And
Okay.
then that automatically allows them the opportunity to be permanently absorbed in
Okay.
workplaces. And it also depends on, the quality of
True.
workplaces.
True.
Yeah, and
True.
if they have that capital to take in someone else after a 12-month internship.
Internship. Okay, so the duration of your internships, how long are they often?
Yeah,
And
so I would say your average is 12 months.
okay.
Obviously, there's some instances that rarely occur where you need to do replacements,
Oh
and then
yes,
that
yes, yes.
intern is going to come on, but they need to complete the remainder of the internship that's left.
Oh, okay, from the
Okay,
previous learner.
yes. Okay, so we usually do replacements up until about 3 to 4 months. So
Okay.
if someone drops off, we can replace them, and then they do the remainder, which might be your 9 to 10 months to
And okay.
complete. Yeah.
Sorry to cut you. And then should it happen that maybe only 3 months are left,
Yeah.
what do you try to onboard the learner for a new year
Yeah,
or
so
something?
that we don't often onboard candidates with 3 months left, because
Okay.
it's we feel it's not
Yeah,
enough
it's not
time for them
enough.
to develop, right? But I mean, if that one in a million occurs and we do that, we will have that option to say, listen, do this 3 months, and if you are enjoying it, if you're developing, let's put you on another internship after
Okay, new
that, so that you
opportunity.
continue with the growth. Yeah.
Oh, okay, because your problem, your solution actually addresses the problem for entrepreneurs, especially local entrepreneurs, whereby they, as business owners, many business owners cannot really afford to pay employees. So you coming with that solution. So have you ever looked into? I'm not sure where exactly you target your area targeting,
Yeah.
but then have you ever looked into the areas, let's say local businesses, as in township?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we do have a lot of workplaces in Katlehong,
Okay.
Soweto, Tembisa,
Oh, yes, yes.
Pretoria CBD, Joburg CBD, all your, yeah,
Oh, okay.
Roodepoort.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
we really are all over. I mean, we have workplaces in Cape Town, in
Okay.
various areas, KZN as well. We started now in the Eastern Cape. We're trying to reach out to Limpopo and Mpumalanga as well.
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
So we really try to like you mentioned, to bridge that gap
Oh,
and
yes.
give small businesses also that opportunity. But we don't want it to negatively affect our interns.
Oh, yes,
In the
true.
case of now, we're putting them at a workplace where we know they won't be absorbed
Oh, yeah.
afterwards, right? So
Yeah.
it's difficult to manage that. But I think how I'm trying to look at it, and what I usually tell the small entrepreneurs workplaces, is that take this, like when I said previously, in interview instead of internship,
Oh,
right?
yeah, yeah.
But look at it as a 12-month interview for your business.
Mm-hmm.
Mold this person in what you need to hopefully grow your company, so that in the next year or two, your company is financially at a place where you can absorb them now, as to where you started, where you didn't have the funds to do that. So let's put this intern in at no charge, right?
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
Develop this person, get them to help, and jumpstart your company, so that at the end of the internship, they had such a big impact. There might be money allocated to them to go on with the company for it to grow. So that's also a big part of it. We work with a lot of big workplaces, but we try to work with the smaller ones
The
as well,
smallest
like you
and
mentioned,
indies.
to give them that opportunity to hit the ground running. Yeah.
All right. And what you normally doing is it actually also gives you access to just monitor these types of all these types of businesses. So have you maybe at some point maybe picked up that okay, this small business is actually coming along well. This one it's coming strong. Like, can you have you been also monitoring the businesses that you've been placing the learners on as to estimate where they might be based on the performance and based on the absorption?
Yeah, yeah. So I think in regards to that, and monitoring it, I always look at the candidates and their training.
Oh, yeah.
You'd often find when I go over to the mentors department and they say like this and this candidate is not doing well on their training, and I do a check in with the workplace, and I'm like, why is this candidate not progressing on their internship? And then I'd usually find it's the companies that are struggling. It's just crazy. The candidate can't get to the training. They're struggling to get their feet off the ground,
Oh, yeah.
and there's people that they finish their online internship in 2-3 months, because they have that support and they've been able to develop in the workplace. So that has been a good indicator. And then a lot of times when workplaces reach back out to me to say, listen, this intern is making a great impact.
Oh, yeah.
Can I have more? We are getting more projects, right? So I have had a lot of those instances where they came back and said, listen, this had such an impact. We have so many projects. Can I get more? Because this is working so well for
yes.
us. Yeah, yeah.
And then in regards to the work hosts, what challenges do you tend to face in regards to them? Besides maybe them being startups at most, what have been the most drastic challenges that you've been facing with work hosts?
I think, it always comes back to communication.
Oh, yeah.
Making sure that we have good and effective communication relationships with the workplaces, so that if something happens, let us know from a support perspective, because I think workplaces don't always know how much support we have to give them. Because I'm running the department for workplaces, I'm also helping with the student HR, right? So if you have any issues and you're struggling to mediate it in the workplace, reach out, let me help. Let's fix this, rather than taking the candidate out and disrupting, the whole progress of the intern and of the workplace. So I think the challenge has been just to make sure that communication line is straight. I mean, every company has different policies and procedures, and we always, tell them, listen, the intern is there and they need to fall in line with what your policies and procedures are. And, thankfully, in regards to the law of South Africa, a lot of them is the same all over when
Oh,
it
yeah.
comes to your leave and things like that. So, yeah, I think communication had to be the big one, and for workplaces not to take advantage of the free labor. Because that's how they saw it at the start when I got into this department is, oh, okay, it's just someone for free. They can treat them like they want. There's no repercussions, right?
Oh, yeah.
And just trying to change their minds, to have those meetings with them and to tell them what this is actually about, the development of the candidate. Yeah.
And then what do you where do you stand actually in regards to, let's say, the company, it's more of those online companies whereby they don't really often require the learners to be at the office, but then they can work online from home. How do you measure that?
Yeah, so that that has been a big problem for us,
Yes.
to be honest, because
Yeah.
a lot of these interns just graduated, so they don't have that experience yet. So now to give them a laptop to go and sit at home, they take advantage of it, unfortunately.
Yeah,
They
it
don't have
happens.
that discipline, that professionalism, they don't have the skill set yet to really, make the most of a work home type of environment. So we very, very rarely allow that.
Oh yeah.
If it is a candidate, with a set of skills, a lot of experience, carry themselves well. The workplace can show us what programs they do run to monitor the work that is being done. Then, that can be a different discussion.
Okay.
But I mean, mainly we want the interns to be in the offices to get that hands-on experience,
Oh, yeah,
right?
yeah.
And develop in that way. I mean, if I look at myself in the office, I develop way more when I'm surrounded by different people, different skill sets and inputs than sitting at home in my own bubble and not having those people there to challenge me
Not
to
maybe.
grow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True. True.
Yeah.
So it's safe to say that as long as maybe the work environment has measures to monitor the candidates working from home, then it can be a discussion.
Yeah, yeah. I think it just like you said, it's depending on what they have in place on their side and what the candidate's experience is. Maybe this is a candidate that's going to go on to their second or third internship with
Oh
us.
yes.
So we know this person and they've shown themselves to be, someone you can depend on,
Oh
right?
yes. Yes.
So then we can say, listen, we know how you work, you finished your program early, you are doing well, so let's talk about it. But I mean, a lot for the interns that going on an internship now for the first time, no experience, then
It's tricky.
that option isn't really going to be possible for them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
true, true.
yeah.
And then in regards to because we have different types of organizations to businesses, and I've actually noticed that there's a bit of being skeptical when it comes to organizations such as NPOs at times because they mostly have working conditions or duties. It's mostly public
Yeah,
beneficial
yeah.
activities. So, would you suggest or do you support as well organizations whereby, for example, the candidates have to maybe do those pop-up markets at the mall and just have their learners or your interns to basically network with people? Is it a environment that you feel you can also allow?
Yeah, so I mean, we have a lot of different industries that we work
Yeah,
in,
we have a
right?
lot.
The issue that has occurred with NPOs is that they don't necessarily have the funding to give these candidates permanent absorption afterwards, right? To provide them with those type of opportunities. But with that said, we still do NPOs. We still have NPOs that we have good relationships with. And then obviously when it comes to the different industries, we have, your wholesale and retail.
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
We have one workplace, they do like hot sauces for your checkers, your Pick and Pay all over South Africa. So they do a lot of pop-up shops and things like that. And then, we have our sales and marketing candidates getting in there, getting those opportunities to work with the public as well. So that's definitely possible, yeah.
Okay, so your learners are tailored in a manner whereby every type of business can actually host them in regards to farming as well.
Yeah, 100%. Even with the farming, we
Yeah,
actually
farming.
now that you said that, we have actually one farming workplace. So yeah, I think we don't have limitations, eh?
Okay.
In regards to industries and qualifications, we do everything. We've done
Oh,
crazy
yeah.
things from medical to working on farms,
Oh, yeah.
even the teaching industry. So yeah, all over, 100%.
All right. No, I'm not sure if there's anything I'm leaving out because I feel like I've actually asked a lot, and anyone who's watching this, yeah, should be very satisfied. But then if you feel there's something maybe that you as a closing remark
Yeah.
that you feel needs to be addressed.
Yeah, 100%. I think the two things that I'd like to touch on is, when Tashanya spoke about disabled candidates.
Oh, yes, yes.
Okay. So, when you start with the workplaces, people are very apprehensive about it
Oh, yes,
because
yes.
they are scared and they don't know if they have the right tools to accommodate
so-
these
so-
learners.
okay.
But they don't want to put them at a disadvantage having them in their space. And we have really managed to really break those barriers. We have workplaces that were so scared because they're like, no, listen, we can't do this and this, and I don't know if, I don't want someone
Yeah,
to get
yeah.
hurt or anything like that. And we started, I mean, disabilities are so diverse, right? And in that regard, we've switched a lot of minds. You know, we have workplaces that now only want disabled candidates because that has just been the best experience. You know, the disabled candidates have broken a lot of barriers,
Oh, yeah.
even inside eStudy, right? We've hosted a lot of interns ourselves, and just to see, you know, how people's mind shift was just amazing. So, yeah, that's the one thing. And I think the second thing for any learners, you know, listening in, I think they have a good idea of how to get the internship running, where to start and go to the waxed link.
Okay.
But if there's any workplaces listening as well, that might be interested, they're also
yes,
welcome
yes.
to contact myself. We have intense vetting process that we run. We
yes.
go and do our site visits. We have a checklist. You know, we make sure it's a safe environment with growth opportunities before we place any candidates. So we have an extensive process in that regard, but it's to make sure that our interns are safe, especially when it comes to hosting our disabled candidates. We
yes.
are very protective about them. We advocate for them. So yeah, if they're interested, they're more than welcome to contact us as well.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much.
Perfect.
I feel we've covered a lot on this on the topic.
Yeah.
And I'm very pleased with all the responses that you have,
Thank
and
you.
very much insightful information.
Yeah.
Because I
yeah.
feel somehow there is someone who's curious as to how can I get on eStudy, and there is someone who's actually interested in terms of how can I host these learners.
Yeah.
So you've covered everything.
Wonderful. Yeah, and I think also the success stories, right? That's what matters. Interns listening, saying, okay, but what is going to come from this? Is it 12 months and then I'm done?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the success stories, people that are now financial managers in JSE listed companies. I mean, that's crazy,
big.
right?
That's big.
But I mean, that's the type of stories that we do have, and the success that's there. So we need candidates that are willing, because I mean, the sky is the limit for that.
True,
So,
true,
yeah.
true.
Thank you for having us.
No, thank you very much. Thank you very much.